Welcome to the Sunshine Coast BNI podcast. My name is Tony Cross and I'm a member of the BNI Business Sunrise chapter here on the coast with my business Drive Connect Car and Finance Brokers. Today, however, I'm the host of Sunny Coast's very own BNI podcast, the first edition, and I'd like to welcome along Steve Allen, who is joining us today to talk about his BNI experience as we give you some insight into the BNI world along with some tips to maximise your experience as a member. Welcome, Steve, to the podcast. Great to have you along.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, appreciate it. And they just told me this was the first, so I'm glad to be number one. Happy days.
Great. Fantastic. Well, let's get into it. Can you give us a brief overview of your business and the main services and products that you offer?
Yes. Yeah, no worries, Tony. Yeah, so my name's Stephen Allen. I'm from Ray White, Mooloolaba. So I hold the residential sales category in Northern Lights, BNI Northern Lights, which is located in Mooloolaba. Basically, I sell residential real estate here on the Sunshine Coast. That's pretty much what I have. I'd like to think my kind of goal is helping people dreams come true. So, and that's obviously through property. So that's kind of a bit about me.
Yep. All right. So how long have you been in the real estate game for?
About nine and a half years now. So it was 9 years in June, just gone. So I'm classed as old in the real estate because it's such a transient industry. So many people come and go. I'm one of the. I am the oldest sales agent in my office now, as far as tenure goes. Apart from the business owners. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And is your real estate journey always been on the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah, yep, same office too. I've only worked at one agency, one office with the same team. So again, that's rare too because so many agents come and go and switch between agencies. So that's good. I feel very lucky. We've got a great office and a great team in a great location. So why would you move? Yeah.
So there would have been some great changes over 9 years on the Sunshine Coast in real estate, no doubt.
Absolutely, including right across the road. I can't show you, but there's a brand new resort literally going up right on the front doorstep of our office. So it's been a lot of changes, a lot of growth, obviously, in the last few years. We're very lucky to be on the sunny coast, originally from the Gold Coast. So we're very lucky to be on the Sunshine Coast and everything that's about to happen in the future, including the Olympics 2032.
Yeah, good. Okay, so one last one on your business there. What do you see as a Ray White difference? It's a big brand, obviously, nationally and globally. What do you reckon the main difference there is?
Yeah, I think it's our reach. I mean, like you said, we are the biggest real estate brand in Australia. Our reach to, both vendors and buyers is huge right across. And we do work collectively as a team. For me, working with Ray White I picked Ray White specifically because they're a family-run business. And to this day, the Whites still own Ray White. So for me, that was really important as opposed to a big corporate structure where you're just another number. I did come from corporate, so, I didn't really want that. The other thing at the moment, Ray White's really invested in tech. The amount of money they're putting into all technology and apps and the way we communicate on these things, they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on doing it. There's a team of 29 staff at our corporate office purely working on tech for us for now and long into the future. So they're spending a lot of money on it, which I think is exciting.
Oh, great. All right. Well, let's talk about your BNI journey. So how and when were you introduced to BNI and what made you decide to join?
Yeah, I met a building and pest inspector at a job. Yeah, so I was selling a unit, and that was year 2 of my real estate career. And he introduced me and got me to come to a meeting, as you do. And it just happened to affect the real estate agency just become available, the seat just become available, which is rare because the real estate agent is definitely very hotly contested. I don't think there's any spare seats anywhere on the Sunshine Coast. So the first time I actually I missed getting in. They picked another lady, but then she only lasted 6 months because she moved away. She moved down south to Victoria. So again, I got the first phone call and boom, swoop, I was straight in. I actually had no idea what it was all about. I really kind of went into it completely blind, which is a bit weird, hey? But my bosses at the time said, I think it'd be really good for you. You should do it. It only can help. And if you don't, then obviously you just give it away. But here we are 7-8 years in and I'm still here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've been in Northern Lights for that whole time?
The whole time. Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
great. And that's the Sunshine Coast's largest chapter?
We are the largest chapter. We're sitting at 38 at the moment. I think we'll probably do between 4 and 5 million closed business this year. Yeah. Which is pretty big. Yeah.
Fantastic. And always one of the coast number one chapters, isn't it? It's always a few at the front, where I hail from as well, but Northern Lights seems to always get the wood on us. So
I think you're up there though. You're up there.
We'll keep that competition going.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as far as your networking and relationships go within BNI, how has being a part of your BNI chapter influenced your approach to networking?
It actually made me start networking. So prior to joining BNI, I was basically no networking. There was zero networking. So my business basically just come from relationships and really hard work on the phones, just trying to create relationships. So before actually joining, there was no networking. So it actually got me to start networking, which is very exciting. It gave me confidence to network, but also at the same time, at the start, I actually didn't really like public speaking. So again, it actually gave me confidence to not only network, but obviously do public speaking as well. And as you know, I was the MC the last 3 years at our awards. So I've gone from a little bit of a shy person, not networking and not being able to public speak to where I am today. And it's completely changed my confidence and who I am as a business person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, to think, and you do hear that story a little bit with people in BNI. They're not very good speakers or engagers, but then, that 60 seconds every week hones your skills. And before you know it, you're running the award ceremony. So,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's good. It's just, the breakfast, for me, a lot of people say, it takes a lot of time and, you got to get up early. But my week now is structured so well. Just being a real estate agent, obviously you work out of your diary. But my business day starts at 6:30 a.m. on a Wednesday. That's just the way it works. So that's just ingrained in the business now. That's completely normal. So I don't see it as spending time having to do BNI because it's just part of the business now.
Yeah, you're correct. And I often refer to people I use it as the start and end of my week now. And it just becomes part of that, part of your weekly process. I had someone the other day put it to me as you every Thursday morning when our meetings are, you just go along and you treat it like a client. Just keep going along and spending your time on your clients. So it's a good way of looking at it. So how do you go about measuring your success of your participation in BNI?
I reckon there'd be a few similar answers here. Obviously, thank you for closed business. That's a big one. So now, especially with the app, you can basically control exactly everything that you're doing from one-to-ones and how much closed business you're getting. So for me, obviously, when times come up for renewal, I just want to make sure, whatever income I'm getting actually covers the fees. Which obviously in my industry, it does well and truly. So, it not only covers the fees, it well and truly exceeds the fees. So that's really, really good. So you just want to make sure it pays for itself, obviously. But the biggest thing is obviously relationships within the chapter. I've actually got lifelong friends now within the chapter, which I think is really powerful. And when you've got 38 different businesses in the room, knowing that you can call on those businesses at any time, for me, and a plumber or a sparky, and they actually pick your phone call up. For me, that's a massive success because you've actually built that relationship and they know and trust you and like you. So knowing that you've got these businesses here locally that you can call and rely on and depend on, I think is big. It's massive. Yeah. And we do rely on each other. They make me look good, and hopefully in turn I make them look good. It is a team effort. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sort of nearly answers the next question I had, which is, how's your business evolved since joining BNI, and what role has a network played in that growth? Like, that there it is right there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a couple of answers I had for this question, and I think it definitely obviously successes in relationships, etc. But at my peak within BNI referrals made up 45% of my business year. So that was at the peak. And coincidentally, I was actually president that year. So whether that went hand in hand, I don't know. But my best year in BNI actually made 45% up. But the last couple of years have been really interesting for me, and I think this is where BNI has become, ingrained in my business. I've had a little girl, so she's 2 and a bit years old now. So because of the relationships within BNI and the referrals that I get, it actually has allowed me to spend a lot more time with family. So, a lot of people in business obviously want to keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, which is great. And that's definitely on my card for 2025. But the last few years for me is actually wanting to spend time with family. So my business hasn't grown, but it hasn't dropped. But what it has done, I'm working, not half the hours, but I'm working a lot less hours, which has given me the ability to spend time with family in that first couple of years with my daughter. So, I don't think I would have been able to do that without BNI because of the support that you get from the chapter, relationships, and also thank you for closed business. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that answer that question?
Yeah, no, 100%. I get it. I get it totally because, I mean, you're obviously using your BNI partners and using its strategies really well, and in turn that makes your business life easier, right?
It does, correct, yeah. And like I said, for me, I don't think you get those years back. Another agent in the office, he's close to retiring, and I remember him saying he's had one regret through his early stages through the kid's life, and he was working 6-7 days a week, and he had a regret that he didn't spend enough time with family. So I definitely did not want to make that mistake. That really resonated with me, and I think I've ticked that box the last couple of years. Yeah, it's been great spending time with her and my wife as well.
It goes quickly, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, she's 2.5 now, so she's Anyway, that's fun times ahead.
She'll be running the house in a few years' time.
Exactly.
So look, moving on. What advice would you give to new BNI members to make the most out of their membership?
Yeah, I love this question. For me, one-to-ones. So I made it a point when I first joined the chapter to get to know and sit down with every member in the chapter as quickly as possible. Obviously, being a real estate agent, I'm not stuck to an office. I can actually get out and about. So I did a one-to-one with every member in the chapter within the first month. So I think that's really important because the more you get to know the members, it does 2 things, 3 things actually. It makes you feel comfortable, and it makes you realize I'm going to get up on a Wednesday morning to go have breakfast with some really great people. Second thing is it helps the members refer business to you a lot easier because if they know you and your business, that definitely helps. But on vice versa, it makes it easier for the members to give you business. So I think, one-to-ones at the start and getting to know the members is really, really important. Ask lots of questions, particularly of your mentor coordinator, because it can be confusing. Hey, you don't know what's going on. And so ask lots of questions, one-to-ones. The other thing was getting involved in the chapter's leadership and how they run the chapter. As I said before, my best year in BNI, 45% of my total sales in the year come from BNI, was the year I was president. So getting involved in the chapter and actually working and understanding how it all works, I think is really important because it gives you an understanding of why we do things and how we do things and what you get out of it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, definitely. And, look, I think our current standing, I think we have 215 members in the 9 chapters on the Sunshine Coast. So there's obviously opportunity to do cross-chapter one-to-ones as well. I know every chapter's got a real estate agent and a mortgage broker that is there, but, still, everyone has their own kettle of fish. So it's handy to do some cross-chapter one-to-ones as well.
So that year that I was president, obviously we had a lot more leadership team meetings. So you were meeting presidents and other leadership teams from other chapters. I actually did get a referral that year from another chapter member, even though they had a real estate agent in that chapter. Won't name the chapter, won't name names, of course. But yeah, it just shows you, even though there was a real estate agent in there, I still got the business. I still sold the house. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I guess in the real estate world, like every house is different, isn't it? You just, so someone might have something different the next day.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's next for your business? And do you have any new exciting projects, any, new deals on the way?
Yeah, so I think for me, 2025, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this year out, take a little bit of a break, of course. But 2025 is going to be a big growth year for me. So my goal is to almost double my sales, which sounds like a lot, but it's not if you do really head down, bum up. So after my couple of years of family time, I guess you could say, 2025 is head down, bum up year. So really sort of focus on real estate and actually getting back to basics. Also a goal, like to try to put a team member on next year as well. So to actually grow the team. So for me, 2025, after the last couple of years, is definitely going to be a bit of a couple of growth years for me. That's the plan anyway.
Oh, that's fantastic news. So yeah, get through 24 and let's get into 25.
Exactly. But 24 has been fantastic. Like I said, it's been absolutely amazing, and everything I wanted to achieve, I've achieved, including spending a lot of time with family.
Yeah, good. Well, it's time, up the ante a little bit more and get into it. So with
Exactly.
your,
Yeah.
so how do you see your relationship with BNI evolving as you grow, in 2025?
Oh, look, I call the BNI members the sales team.
Yeah.
So, the sales team is obviously going to be an integral part of that growth. Again, if I'm doing my job properly, I make the members look good and vice versa. I've had a couple of months ago, I sold this house down at Batinia, and I had the Sparky Tony Taylor at the house on a Saturday arvo doing work because it was settling on the Monday. There would be no other agents on the coast that actually could organise that. Having a Sparky work on a Saturday for a settlement on the Monday. So the sales team are going to be an integral part of that growth, and for me, relying on them, building pest inspector, mortgage brokers, etc. They're all part of the team. So they're definitely going to be part of that process.
And again, it's just got to make your life easier knowing that you can rely on those people. And as you said earlier in the podcast, they pick up the phone, they know who you are, then you know their quality of work, you know what your customers are going to get. So that's obviously a big bonus, isn't it?
Absolutely. And hopefully, like I said, I can add value to them as well. That's always part of it too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, as we're getting towards the end, I need to get some parting wisdom from you. So if you could share one piece of wisdom with our listeners, whether they're BNI members, local entrepreneurs, what would it be?
My wisdom would be yourself. Like real estate's, there's a lot of agents we're in a very competitive industry. Hey, very, very, very competitive. So I think being your true self through the whole process, I think is the key there. I mean, so many people that actually aren't being themselves. They represent a different type of person. But I think that'll always get found out at some stage. So I've got a shocking memory sometimes. So, being yourself, don't lie or try to make stuff up because you will get caught out. You know what I mean? But I think truly being yourself, people want to deal with genuine people. So be your genuine self, and then you'll give a good experience to your customers and other members. Yeah, be yourself. That's my wisdom.
Yeah, well, that is good wisdom because, as you say, eventually get found out. So there's no point trying to remember something.
You always get found out, yeah. And for me, real estate's a long game, hey. Being nice is a long game. So, you can't put that facade on long term, can you? So truly be yourself and the business will come. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Real estate, obviously a long game. BNI is too. You have to, from your experience, 9 years, you've done a stint as president, you would have seen people come into the chapter that thought it was just going to light up straight away for them. And I guess in some instances, maybe for a handyman or a trades-based service, that might happen. But in other areas, especially probably a real estate agent, you have to be on a bit of a long burn, don't you?
You definitely do. And, I didn't get any closed business in my first year. But the member who inducted me at that time explained that, so again, ask questions and get to know your members brings it back to that. But then the second year it just took off. So, obviously we sell big assets and they're large dollar volume, but yeah, it does take time. But the longer you're in it now, yeah, like I said, I've made lifetime friends. We've got 6 or 7 ex-presidents still in our chapter, which I don't think any other chapter on the Sunny Coast would have that, which is incredible. So it just shows you the longevity and the relationships that we build within the chapter.
Yes, I was at a function with you the other day, and you mentioned that. I was quite blown away. As a chapter, that's a great stat to have, isn't it? Just all those people still in the room contributing.
That's why we're number one.
No, he had to get that. He definitely got that in there. We won't be editing that bit out.
No, it helps though. Hey, if you've got experienced members in the chapter, it helps the chapter run. It helps the culture. It helps. It definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah. No, great. And finally, Steve, where can people get hold of you? Websites, emails? Where are all your socials? Let us know.
Yeah, not on social at the moment. Actually, yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm spending too much time on it, so I'm just sort of taking a step back from social media. But yeah, Ray White Mooloolaba. We're based in Mooloolaba, right on Brisbane Road. You can't miss the shop front. Yeah, obviously we've got all our websites. So yeah, Stephen .allen at raywhite.com. And yeah, obviously I'm mobile. I live on this thing.
I don't doubt you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap for the episode 1 of the Sunny Coast BNI podcast. And thanks for doing it. I always knew it was going to be a fun one, so it's good to get our first one under the belt. I've known you for a fair while, and I can't thank you enough for coming on, Steve. It's been fantastic.